Loud, loud, loud. Mr. No Hippie Barbecue himself. You know, I watched your video, your brisket video, and I gotta admit, it wasn't too shabby. But now I gotta throw my hat in the ring. So that's what I'm gonna do. I got a brisket. I'm gonna fire up the WSM, Weber Smokey Mountain, and throw that bad boy on there. And let's see how this comes out. Let's get started. Alright, since I'm only making one brisket, I am going to modify my rub a little bit. I have a half a cup of coarse black pepper. Then I got half a cup of sea salt. I got a fourth of a cup of onion powder. Got a fourth of a cup of granulated garlic powder. Got a quarter of a cup of paprika. And I got a quarter cup of cayenne pepper. Now let's give all this a good mix. Alright, I got the brisket here. The rub is made up. This here is a just shy of 11 pounds, almost 11-pound brisket. Now I know Lau, you didn't do a whole lot of trimming. I think you did just a tad. But I'm going to do some trimming. Alright. One thing that I'm going to do is this top part, you can make it out. It's got all this silver skin on there. I want to make sure I get that off. A lot of this hard fat here that will not render out, I'm going to cut off. Any ends that look dark here, I'm going to cut off. The fat cap side, I'm going to do a little trimming. I'm not going to do too much, but I'm definitely trimming. And I'm not worried about it being dry or lacking flavor, because my briskets don't ever turn out that way. So let me get this bad boy trimmed up, and I will show you what it looks like once I'm done. Alright, I got it trimmed up. Trimmed off the silver skin, those on the top. I did trim up. Here you got that big hard piece of fat that wasn't rendered out. I trimmed some of that off, left a little bit. This here isn't too hard, so I'm not worried about that. Trimmed up around the point area where your burnt ends are going to come from. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to go burnt ends or just slice it up. I think I'm going to do burnt ends. The fat cap side, I did some trimming. I didn't trim it too much. You still got a good amount of fat, you know, around it. So that's what it looks like. Now, one thing that I do with my briskets is, you know, you always want to cut against the grain, right? And here, this grain is running this way. But once you get that bark on there, and after it's cooked, it's kind of hard to see the grain sometimes. So what I do is, since I know my grain is running this way, and I can see it now, I always cut a little end off at the end of the brisket. Now when I go to cutting, I know that this is where I'll start. I'll just get my slices from here, because I know that's the way the grain is going. So that's just something that I do. I'm going to get this bad boy rubbed down, get the WSM fired up, and you know, it's about midnight, Sunday night, so ain't going to be a whole lot of filming going on outside until tomorrow morning, Monday morning. Rub it down. I'm going to put in the fridge for about an hour and then throw it on the WSM. Next time I pick back up, it will be to see what it looks like. Because at that point, I'm expecting this, or I'm gonna try to set this so where it, really low and slow. I want it to cook really slow, and it's gonna be an all day, all night, all day cook. So that's what it looks like. Let me get the rest of it finished up, rubbed down, and then I will pick back up tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy. It's been on for 9 hours. I put it on at 1 a.m. and it's been running ever since. This sitting at about 240, and I'll tell you what, this thing has been sitting at 240 the entire cook. 9 hours, 240 the entire cook. I don't know what else you can say about that. That's pretty damn good. So let's take a look. Damn, look at that. That looks damn good. I am extremely happy with the way this is looking. Look at that. Great bark. This is a no wrap kind of video or kind of brisket. I am not wrapping this bad boy. I like the jiggle. I'm liking the way that feels. Damn. Let's take the temp. So I got my thermopan, and let's go on the flat. 187, upper 180s. I tell you what though, this thing is sliding in. Oh, 208 there. This thing is sliding in without any resistance whatsoever. That's a good sign. Check this flat. 183. 192. It is very, very close to being done. It's been on 9 hours, and yeah, it was 198 there, or 191. Yeah, I'm liking the way this looks. Oh yeah, I'm liking the way it feels. This bad boy. Oh yeah, this bad boy looks good. Very, very happy with it. I'm gonna let this go for another hour, and then I'll check the temperature then. And whenever it gets to about 197, 198, around there, I'm gonna pull it off, wrap it in foil, wrap it in a towel, let it sit for a few hours before cutting into it. So that's what it looks like. Bam! Looks good. All right, this brisket is done. It's been on for it's about 10 hours now, so it took 10 hours to do. I probed it again, and it's reading about 198, which is exactly where I want it. So I'm just going to wrap it in some foil, and I'm going to double wrap it in some foil. I'm going to wrap it in a towel and set it aside in the cooler and let it sit there for probably 2 to 3 hours before cutting into it. You want to let that meat rest and all those juices get sucked back into the meat. So that's what it looks like. And you know I had to try me a little piece. Look at that. I wish you could feel this thing. That jiggle. Smells great. Tastes great. The rub there. I'm going to wrap it up. Next time I pick back up, it'll be about 3 hours from now. And we'll cut this bad boy up and see what it looks like. All right. This has been sitting for 2 hours. It's time to cut into it and see what it looks like. All right, it is unwrapped. That's what it looks like. You can see the point over here. It's just pretty soft. It almost wants to break off. The end here is where I cut, so I know this is where I'm going to start my slices. So let's get to cutting. I was trying to decide if I want to do burnt ends with the point, but I decided not to. Just gonna slice it up. So here's part of the, gets a little better the deeper I go, but this is what it looks like so far. Not too shabby. I'm gonna go pull it apart. Not too bad. I'm not sold on that piece just yet, but taste-wise, not too bad. I'm gonna actually separate the rest of this flat from this point real quick. Ooh. So here's the flat. Look, man, can you see that? Look at all this juice out here running out. You see that? Look at that. Puddles. There's your point. Ooh, this sucker's still hot. See here? Really, really moist. Let's turn this bad boy over. I'm going to continue to cut this flat. But look at this. Watch. Watch right here. Watch this juice about to drop. See that? Yeah, I'm going to say that's pretty juicy. Let me get this cut up a little bit more. Alright, so here's some more of this flat that's been cut. Get that lined up. Not too bad. You do get, you know, you got a little smoke green. I would like to have gotten a more defined smoke green here, but it'll work, right? Let's see, pull that apart. Definitely comes right apart. Look at that. Barely even have to pull, and it comes apart. So not too bad. Let's taste this. Yeah, you definitely get the heat from the cayenne from the rub. there. So you can definitely see, look at the, definitely tons of moisture. This thing is not dry at all. Look at that. Damn. This cut up. Look at that. There it is. Oh, it's a table. This is the point. Definitely plenty of moisture in there as well. The other half of the point. Oh, look at that. About to fall right apart. That's what it looks like. I'm going to cut some slices out of here real quick. Alright, so here's a slice of the point, the moist. See that? This point, this was actually a small brisket. The point on this wasn't very big at all. Not much of a smoke ring on this piece, but really tender. You can do this here, just kind of pull it apart. Definitely falls right apart like that. Barely even pulling it and it comes apart. So definitely tender. Let's get a taste of this. Yeah. That there is pretty good. Pretty damn good. Well, I'm going to snap a few pics. This is my favorite part right here. The very tip of that point. Where your burnt ends will come from, or the best part of the burnt end for me. Cut that. Cut that. It's all that goodness, that bark. A little bit of fat. I love the fat. Yum. Alright. I'm going to cut the rest of this up. I'm going to consider this a wrap. This is my first time doing a brisket on the WSM. And it came out pretty good. I'm happy with it. So, that's what it looks like. Again, I'm going to snap some pics and call this a wrap. Lyle, I wish you could taste this, buddy. And I wish I could taste yours. But, that's what it is. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Alright, just really quickly, I wanted to jump on really quick to say that this was actually my first time ever smoking a brisket on the WSM. I always use my big pits. I've never used the Weber Smokey Mountain, and I was really impressed. I will say the only thing that I will do different next time, and I'm probably going to do that very soon. I'm gonna do another brisket on the WSM. But the only thing different that I would do is cook it with the fat cap down. I normally cook fat cap down. I know that's a huge debate, but I've done both ways, and you know, no one's going to tell me that fat cap down is wrong, because I know plenty of people who've won that way. I've made brisket that way that's turned out amazing. So for me, you could go either way. You know, I'm not a believer that it only has to be fat cap up. However, with this cook, I did cook the brisket fat cap up, my thing is that was that heat would come up around the dome, then it would come down from the top onto the top of the brisket. So I wanted that layer of fat as to act as a barrier to kind of protect the meat. But I can tell that the heat, when it came around the bowl, kind of came out from under the bowl and hit the brisket from the bottom. So the next one I'm doing, I'm definitely taking that fat cap and turning it upside down and cooking the fat cap down. Other than that, excellent. I got 10 hours out of that, very consistent, from the time I started it to the time I ended it. That Weber Smokey Mountain, man, it's awesome. It allowed me to get a long, very very consistent burn, and 10 hours, and I didn't put a ton of charcoal in the bottom. I just put a U shaped around the bowl, lit it that way. Water in the chamber in the bowl. Even doing that, still got 10 hours out of it. Excellent. So that's it. I just wanted to come on and say that about the cook. Again, thank you guys for watching so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I will see you guys soon. You guys take care.